We believe that the family has a very special place in the kingdom of God. It is, for us, the primary way in which souls are brought into the world. It is the way we are formed. It is the way we are taught about the life of Christ. But Jesus takes it even a little further, as does St. Paul, to talk about the family as being an image of Christ, especially the role of man and woman as husband and wife. This is like the relationship of Jesus to the church. Now, as soon as we start hearing some of these words of being subordinate to one another, we start to get a little bit uncomfortable inside. That's actually a result of the original sin. In the original sin, Adam and Eve began to try to change the order of things. They were not okay with God making the rules, and they simply go along with it. They wanted to change the rules, to break the rules, and it immediately began to affect their relationship with each other. Now we still feel a little bit of competition. Who's in charge of who? Who has the authority over the other? Jesus gives us a very different way about thinking about our role as disciples. He talks about being at service to one another. On the night before he died, he bowed down and washed the feet of the apostles. He said to them, "You see what I've done? You call me master, and rightfully so, and yet I'm washing your feet. How much more should you do this for each other?" The family is not meant to be a power struggle, but to live in true service of one another and therefore become a sign, a symbol, a sacrament for the world to see who Christ is and the potential we have. Some use the term the domestic church. That's just the family, who represents the way Christ and the church interact with each other. Christ came to serve us. How much more should we serve each other? It would be very easy to hand over your life to somebody if you knew they were going to take really good care of you. And that's the way he wants it to be, to live without fear and to live in deep love for one another. Sometimes we think that these words are nice and fluffy. It's a poem, really, but in the practical, it doesn't really work. Jesus would say, you underestimate it. It's kind of like this parable of the kingdom of God. There's these little acts of love, these little sacrifices we do for each other, these little moments when we're conscious of the fact that I must become church and Christ to each other. And when we do these little acts, it changes things in a way you didn't imagine. He talks about like a little mustard seed suddenly becoming something huge, a bush. He talks about the little bit of yeast that'll now leaven the entire dough. If you just do these little acts in ways that are mysterious and beyond what you imagined, your family will become a sacrament that reflects the love of God. And the world will become more of what Christ had originally intended for Adam and Eve, and that we lost in disobedience. Rather than looking at these words and saying, I don't know if that's true, he's saying, trust me. This is my plan. Follow the plan, and I will put things in order.